Episode 204. A 6-level suppression. Indeed, it was nothing to scoff at. The impact from Ye Xiu and So Mucheng's 6 anti-tank shells was less than that of a single normal attack. It's only because the Flame Witch is a mage class, lacking any innate physical robustness. If this were a strength-type boss, 6 anti-tank shells under a 6-level suppression would be nothing but a fleeting cloud. Ye Xiu and Su Mucheng were well aware of this, so they didn't hold out much hope. They were just buying a little more time. Even so, the Flame Witch drew ever closer. The moment the two entered her attack range, she immediately raised her staff. With 2 resounding booms, the air above seemed to tear open. 2 massive fireballs coalesced and plummeted down, crashing toward Ye Xiu and So Mucheng's characters. Yet even as she cast, the Flame Witch's pursuit continued. Spells requiring incantations typically can't be cast while moving, but there is one exception: the Elementalist. Upon learning the level 30 passive skill, Mobile Casting, elemental mages can chant and cast spells while performing various actions. Of course, movement speed is drastically reduced in this state. You need to level up your Mobile Casting skill. This can improve your speed in such situations. However, even at max level, you'll only have 50% of your normal speed. It's no comparison to moving freely, even though the Flame Witch is a boss. Yet this was also in line with her skill design. While casting the 2 massive fireballs, her movement slowed considerably. Ye Xiu and Su Mucheng not only dodged the attacks with ease, but also seized the chance to widen the gap once more. The Fire Witch's AI really wasn't up to snuff. She didn't understand the concept of closing the distance completely before attacking. She always fired off her spells the moment she had a chance. Every time she attacked, her own speed would drop, resulting in this constant stop and go. She was never able to close the gap between herself and Lord Grim and Windward formation. Those goblins were falling further and further behind. One by one, they gradually disengaged from combat. These goblins and the Flame Witch had no aggro link to begin with. They were just ordinary mobs from the leveling zone. The Flame Witch had simply spawned too long ago without being killed. And so they gradually gathered around the Flame Witch. Each had its own aggro, judging that the target was now moving further and further away. Once the figures gradually vanished from sight, the goblins finally turned their backsides and went about their own business. As for Ye Xiu and So Mucheng, they were just leading the Fire Witch in circles. Even a boss has its patrol zone. Trying to lure the Fire Witch from the Flame Forest all the way to the Frost Forest was absolutely impossible.
Coordinates 16, 587, 542. Ye Xiu called out to Tang and Steaming Bana invasion.
Right now, he and So Mucheng were fighting while retreating, looking like they could kite the boss. But in reality, their attack rhythm along this path couldn't possibly be tight. The boss's health would automatically regenerate. While it wouldn't completely negate all the damage, at this rate of attrition, even ignoring the mana burden, they could fight it all day and still not bring it down. Tang Ru and Steamed Bun Invasion rushed over as soon as they got the message. Arriving on the scene, they saw that the goblins led by the Fire Witch were indeed all gone. Now, Ye Xiu and So Mucheng no longer needed to kite the Flame Witch around. They had already begun the hunt.
"We're here!"
Bunny Slasher roared. Before he arrived, his brick did. A flying brick shot out, smashing into the back of the Flame Witch's head. The Flame Witch seemed to stagger for a moment, but it was gone in an instant.
Use it wisely. Brick Assault isn't that powerful. But at least you can use it to interrupt the skill.
Ye Xiu instructed Biaozi Invasion. Even a brief stun counts as breaking the status. If the Flame Witch is chanting a spell during that window, it will definitely be interrupted. Of course, that's assuming the stun effect actually lands. Otherwise, with the witch's super armor during her cast, regular attack damage won't interrupt her skill at all. And don't forget to use your poison needle. Ye Xiu reminded Steamed Bun Invasion once more. Poison Needle is a Rogue's level 30 skill. Despite its name, it doesn't deal poison damage. It has two effects: a chance to inflict bleed and a guaranteed ability to break super armor. While in super armor, you cannot be knocked down, launched, pushed back, interrupted, or crowd controlled. In short, unless you're hit by a grab or grapple skill, the target is immovable. Poison Needle is a skill that can remove the super armor state. At its lowest level, it can strip a target of super armor for 5 seconds. At its highest level, this duration can last up to 10 seconds. Under the Witch of Flame's overwhelming level advantage, the Poison Needle's 5-second effect was clearly impossible. Yet, Steamed Bun Invasion still followed Ye Xiu's orders. He circled the Flame Witch, poised to strike with Poison Needle at any moment. The fiery red aura surrounding her flared with every attack and spell she cast. This shimmering aura was the visual manifestation of her super armor state. In this state, the Flame Witch was unstoppable. Neither basic attacks nor skills could interrupt her actions. She suddenly spread her arms wide. Not only did the flames around her intensify, but within a circle centered on her, even the air seemed to spark with embers. Instantly, the withered wood and yellowed grass on the ground erupted with a whoosh as numerous flames burst to life. This is the skill Meteor Shower. This was one of the Flame Witch's area of effect ultimates, summoning a massive number of fiery meteors. It created a meteor shower-like effect, striking all targets within its range. Poison Needle. Ye Xiu had no time to explain the spell further. Seeing the witch begin her cast, Ye Xiu immediately called out. Steamed Bun Invasion, who was already prepared, heard Ye Xiu's instruction and didn't ask why. He immediately unleashed the Poison Needle skill. The Poison Needle struck the Flame Witch from behind, and the fiery aura surrounding her instantly vanished. Steamed Bun Invasion, ever the coward, was terrified of provoking retaliation. The moment his needle flew, he scurried behind a tree.
What are you hiding for?
Lord Grim wasn't far away. A sky strike shot out, lifting the Flame Witch into the air. Despite the level suppression and the boss's immense resistance, the launch was more like tripping it up. But, with Ye Xiu's lightning, fast follow-up, a falling flower palm struck immediately. With a resounding boom, the palm strike connected with the Flame Witch. Brawler's Poison Needle only broke the boss's super armor for about a second. But that single second was all Ye Xiu needed. He unleashed two skills, interrupting the Flame Witch's meteor shower. Hey, why are you running?
You ran out of poison needles. Why didn't you use a skill to interrupt him yourself?
Ye Xiu chided Baozi. This was supposed to be a training opportunity for him, but the guy was being downright sneaky.
I was afraid. She had some ultimate. Move up her sleeve.
Brawler hurriedly explained. In the few moments it took to say this, the Flame Witch had already gotten back up and charged back into the fray. Tangru's soft mist swiftly moved to intercept 3 different, colored battle spirits swirling around her foam. In addition to the non-attribute and ice attribute types, she now had a fire attribute chaser generated from falling flower palm attacks. The fire attribute chaser's effect was to increase strength. At that moment, a layer of red magical energy shimmered around Han Yanru's arm, the unmistakable state of a fire attribute shining sphere. It looked quite similar to the one the Flame Witch had cast on the goblins earlier. A sky strike uppercut, but the Wild Witch in her super armor state stood firm, not budging an inch. Without even shifting her stance, she swung her staff horizontally. The runes at its tip ignited from the friction with the air. The Flame Witch's attacks were perpetually imbued with fire. Her staff was exceptionally long, granting this sweeping strike an immense range. Steamed Bun Invasion, who was preparing to move in, was forced back outside the circle. Inside the circle, Cold Mist was already too late to retreat further. She ducked low and darted out, then immediately rolled away, narrowly dodging the witch's sweeping arc of fire.
该音频由 AI 生成。